what's to do and what's not to do, in this period, to just help her, because I'm always like in for the fact that you're supposed to coach people, not really just like criticize them only, even though we had some things that we said about Seemah, of which we love her. This is coming from a place of love, and I know and I believe that if she seeks the coaching from MacG, I mean, you have the greatest people next to you. What's good, guys? Welcome. And if you're new to the podcast, hopefully you will enjoy being a part of this family. And if you're a returning listener, thank you so much for your consistent support. We are growing and I appreciate the growth. Please do not forget to share this podcast with all of your friends. Just help us grow in any way that you can. It is much and very much appreciated. I'm happy to be amongst your midst, even though I am coming to you late. I think a day late, and I'm sorry. I really am sorry. I've been watching diaries, and I know it's a bad thing. I need to stay consistent and to honor the times and everything, but it doesn't mean that I don't honor you guys. I felt like when I come to you guys, I need to have a good energy. And, for the past days, I was just trying to find myself out, and stuff like that. When you're doing content creation, all of the times you get a lot of comments from a lot of people. Some are not happy, some are happy. But, those that are not happy, they always find a way to make you feel not happy. Like, you get to feel the way that they feel, and so they say a lot of harsh stuff about you, and then you end up like, okay, I'm gonna take a break and sit down and take a breather, and then when I come back to my people, because I honor them, I will not complain, I'll just be happy. And this is where we are right now. I'm so happy to be amongst you, and there's a lot that happened in the previous week. There's a lot that we need to talk about, and I'm glad that I am in your presence today. So let's dive straight into it. We have a video of this guy who was on Skeem GP, and he was speaking about DJ Maphorisa. He was speaking about producers, to clarify it and to put it simply. But he really took a knock at DJ Maphorisa. I don't know, for some reason, he was just like determined to make Maphorisa look bad. So what he said basically is that the reason why these good vocalists are getting a shot in this music industry, especially the guys. He was talking about the guys. He made mentions of names like Daliwonga, and all of those vocalists that are under that are working with DJ Maphorisa, because I need to be clear with what I'm saying before I say something that is not record label correct. But yes, he said that basically Maphorisa is sleeping with those guys and everything like that. And then he said the reason why they don't want to recommend, the vocalist will be reluctant to recommend people that are new to these dope producers like DJ Maphorisa, is because they got to that point through hard work, and hard work being that they had to sleep with the producers. And that was weird. That was very weird, to actually say out loud, because when you're sitting down and you're thinking, you're like, come on, people, this is something that you don't like. It goes back to the point that we've had before. There are things that you don't need to say. Like, you think them, keep them in your head, just think them, don't say them out loud, because once you say them out loud, you're putting yourself in a position whereby you'll basically get to be sued, and they will sue you so badly. And I think that's what's gonna happen right now, because Maphorisa then came out on Twitter and said that, what, I'm going to make you pay, and you're gonna pay so badly. And Julius Malema actually came as well under the thread of DJ Maphorisa, and he said, yeah, make them pay, chief. And this is basically me paraphrasing, but yeah, there was make them pay. It's just another word was used, but yeah. Anyways, and I'm like, man, DJ Maphorisa, this guy has been winning cases lately. That means that the guy has a really strong team in the lawyer side, and you still want to put yourself in the way of this is not even like, this is a bazooka. You're putting yourself in the way of a bazooka. Like, you have to think those things, like, because they are not factual, they're not true, right? if you're thinking them, keep them as just thoughts. Don't say them out loud, because once you say them out loud, now it's a problem. And this guy is going to get sued. And I know DJ Maphorisa will do it. And I support it, because even Skeem GP, the guy who is hosting the podcast and had this guy as a guest, actually said, you know what, I'm not gonna be a part of this. This is something that you are saying. Everyone be clear, he is saying it, not me. And these are things that he was saying during the episode, and it just reminded me of Ria Kopani. Like, he from everything SA music, like, he did, the same thing. They were telling him consistently, bro, you're gonna get in trouble, and he kept on talking, he kept on getting hyped or anything. I don't know whether it's like, the drill of thinking, you know what, I'm gonna trend for this, I'm gonna be out there, and then you're like, oh man, this is gonna be bad, this is gonna be really, really bad. For those that don't know who Skeem GP is, basically Skeem GP is there was this crew that was doing heists and everything, and he got locked up. When he came back, then he decided to create a podcast. So he's basically bringing people that, on the other side, on the dark side, people that have been arrested, people, that have broken the law before, and they come and they basically share stuff, and they speak. I don't know if there are now new guests that are not associated with any of that, and if there is, I stand corrected. But yeah, that's the whole concept, is to try and teach people about crime, so that people can be more observant, people can be more, they can have their mind open and anything like that. And I guess that's the pretty, motivation that is put out there about the whole Skeem GP podcast and everything like that. But some people are like hesitant. They're like, aren't you just advertising and parading this thing to the youth and letting them know that, okay, now they can, start doing it, it's normal, anything like that? And the fact that, you can commit crime basically and then come back to a podcast and get all the fame and all of those things. And that's something that's not new, because it's been said before. And it started when MacG also had, he brought people onto the podcast like the Skeem GP, and then people were like, oh, okay, these are the kind of guests that make stealing and being a criminal look like it's a cool thing. Are we trying to promote that or anything like that? But you just needed to hear the side of their story, I guess. And it happens a lot these days, especially with podcasts. Like, it's a normal thing. And also MacG also had come last week and spoken about the new direction that the podcast is taking. A lot of people were saying that, okay, now it's boring, it's not controversial, you're not bringing all of those things as you brought them before. And you might think that is contradictory, but you guys before, you were complaining that these things is misleading, these things is parading things that are gonna lead the youth astray, just like we've just spoken about Skeem GP and why people were quarreling and were against the idea that he had to come to the podcast and chill with MacG. And you're like, people are never satisfied. That is the thing that is training about social media. People are never satisfied, and the sooner you understand that, the better, the more you're going to succeed as a podcaster, as an influencer, as a social media person, as a content creator. Because as soon as you know that, what, no matter what I do, no matter how much I try, I can never make people happy, so just let me focus on those that really just enjoy my presence. That's when you succeed. But yeah, people were saying that the podcast and chill podcast has changed a lot. And I think Tyla also had spoken before. It's like, what, the podcast and chill, is not having substance or anything like that. It's misguided, it's misdirected. And you're sitting down, you're thinking, was that what MacG was planning when he started the podcast? Because I'm pretty sure he was using an outlet. He found an outlet whereby he can entertain, he can heal, he can help heal other people, just speak out on things that you've experienced and anything like that. And just people that relate can then read it as something that is going to inspire them to become better and inspire them to keep on living. Because at the end of the day, they'll look at it and they'll be like, if MacG went out through that, through all of those things, and he at the end of the day made it, then it means that I can can also make it, eventually. But yeah, there was that thing, from Gantla Lax, and then that repeated commenting that came on the Warriors episode as well, because MacG, when he went to New York, whereby he then attended the medicine show by Black Coffee, and he spent time with people there like Nota, and when he was away, he had a couple of guests that were taking his seat in the podcast, and one of them was Dineo Ranaka, the other one was Warriors. And people were basically commenting and saying that what we're having right now is much better. MacG was sensitizing it. MacG was no longer giving us what we had, what we used to get before. And these are the people that MacG labels as just people that are waiting for the podcast to fall, and people that as Ghost Lady would say, people that just came to just they don't really support it, but they are just like there to just like make sure that they pour fire into is it pour petrol into the fire, into making sure that the episode or the podcast is not sustainable, is not staying there longer, there's no longevity or anything like that. And you're like, man, I don't know why we're like that. Whenever we have something that is big, something that is growing, we always try and make sure that we pull it down. And the podcast and chill for me is just basically one podcast that I believe has stood the test of time. And I think even in this window, with a lot of people doubting, if you have there's one thing that Fed Checker said. She said that if you have 1 million subscribers, it could be that most of them are just not really chillers. They are not the die-hard chillers that were there when you had 30k, but they're just like people that came selectively for a show. They enjoy one show and then they subscribe and stay, but then they don't know the core foundation of the podcast and what it's built on. And that's true. I was also having a conversation with one of my friends yesterday, and she was speaking about the very same thing, that people will come see a video that they like. We're not really speaking about the podcast, we're speaking about anything that's related to vlogs and everything like that, and content creation. People will see a video that they like, they'll subscribe, and then they will not unsubscribe. And the numbers are growing, yes, but most of the people are hating now, and they don't understand why the podcast is operating the way it's operating. They don't have the backbone. That's why it's also difficult to then fill out your venues, because you have most of the people, some of the people, are just people that just subscribe because one of their favorite, female artists or male artists came to the show, and now they ended up subscribing. They don't appreciate or know what the podcast is all about, And that is the same issue that MacG is facing right now with the podcast. But I like the fact that he said, the first experience is always gonna be something that you're gonna remember, and then as going forward, you're gonna try and relive that experience. Instead of just doing that, make sure that you live in the moment, because we might not have podcasting forever. We might not have the podcast forever. Things are gonna change. People are gonna find new things to do. He might go to New York and work with Charlemagne and all of these things, and other people might find other opportunities that they feel are great for them than the podcast. Instead of just always waiting for the end of it, why don't we just celebrate and appreciate the moment and where we are right now and all of those things? So I think that is a valid thing to say by MacG, and I'm really glad and happy to see him growing and being unapologetic on the growth of the podcast or anything like that. But it's beautiful. And while we're at the podcast and chill, we've been having Seemah lately, and I as you know, I don't like saying negative things, but I feel like lately Seemah has not been herself, and she's not conducting herself as someone that really takes the hosting, the spreading humors segment of the podcast and chill network serious. I don't know. for the past for the past two episodes, maybe it's too early to judge it. We'll see as the episodes go forward, and we'll see whether it's a coincidence. But the previous one, she was rusty. She had said that she had never slept before coming to the show, and she couldn't take a proper shower, and so she was still crusty from the night before. Okay, we understood that. And then later on, she said that she was going through period pains and everything like that. I don't know, but for me, in my workplace and everywhere I've worked, I don't know, maybe people are rock solid there, but I've never seen someone going through that window. And then, and mind you, don't say that maybe it's you never noticed. There was one person at one point which I disagree with what they did. They went to the washroom, they took out their pad, they put it in the toilet, they didn't flush. So when everyone came in, they just would see that pad. And now, even today, I'm still wondering who has the guts to do that. But, they went through the period pains and all of those things. But my chat is, they never show it. They're going through it, but they don't show it out loud. They don't make everyone now feel bad, or everyone just like, because we cranky now, everyone should be cranky or anything like that. And that's my chart too. When I think about all these things that Seemah has been doing in that episode. She made sure that she closes the show early. She made sure that she's complaining about most of the stuff. If you don't believe what I'm saying, you can go and check that episode. I've forgotten who they had. I don't think they had a guest then. But yeah, you can check it out. It's available on MacgG, Podcast and Chill with MacgG. Just search Podcast and Chill with MacgG Seemah, and you'll basically get the shows that Seemah is in. But yeah, and then I was like, okay, maybe I don't understand period pains. They're painful, right? I don't understand them, so I can't say, I'm someone that's going to judge. Maybe she still, is in that phase whereby she doesn't know what to do when she has period pains. Because I know some people take tablets to help and try and just like make sure that it doesn't interfere with their work or anything like that. But with her, I was understanding she's still young, she has to grow. So this is something that I'm understanding that she has to learn, and anything like that. And then come this episode, the previous one, the latest one, because I was like, in the first one, I was like, oh, this is way too snacks. I don't think I'm gonna check the next one. But I'm like, you know what? I'm a chiller, man. I'm a chiller. I'm gonna always make sure that I support the podcast to just because for me, I would not lie. I'd be lying if I say that MacG's podcast didn't inspire some of my thoughts, and how I am conducting my podcast in terms of how what I want, even if it's something that is opposite of what MacG is doing. It's also like it's still a motivation from MacG. And as we know it, MacG really took podcasting into something that is a reality, and we are relating to it on our side. So I would be lying if I said MacG doesn't have FM foot on the direction that podcasting has taken in South Africa right now. So definitely that is something that we have to give him props for. So I'd say, you know what? I'm gonna stick around to see it, to support all the well-rounded, because I even watched Popcorn and Cheese. I even watched the episodes with MacG. I watch everything that is under MacG. The one that I found difficult to watch is that of Dino Ranak and the sex talk and all of those things. For me, that was difficult to watch, because I was like, hey, no way we're just having that. I'm that kind of guy. I'm the boring kind of guy. I understand I am the boring kind of guy, and I admit I am boring, and I am boring. I am boring. But yeah, coming back to the Banduizis podcast, spreading humors, I was like, we know what, I'm gonna still come back, because this is, for me, the podcast and chill is basically medicine for me. I feel like it's medicinal. Like when I'm working, as I'm a software developer, when I'm working, most of the times when I'm coding, I have my phone on the stand and I'm watching whilst coding on my laptop, and I feel like that's cozy for me. It's chill. So when I sat down and when I watched this episode, the latest one with Seemah, I found out that it's still the same issue. It's still the same issues that we're facing. a night time that was late, too much drinking. Coming back to the podcast, there's no voice now. She can't speak on the podcast. Now we're like, man, what's going on? What is really going on? I really hope that this is a growth stage, and that she will make sure that she comes out of it faster before we find her on this "she blew it" or "I blew it" kind of episodes. That, because hey, TV is always gonna find a way to put you there, and you'll just be there witness. We will witness your career on "I blew it" or anything like that. But I really hope, because I feel like, people like Saul Penduga, as you know, I think he had a gambling, experience whereby addiction and everything like that. And then there's MacG as well, who was still is still manages to drink and still be on the podcast. I feel like these people, they can coach her, and they can tell her what's to do and what's not to do, in this period, to just help her. Because I'm always like in for the fact that, you're supposed to coach people, not really just like criticize them only, even though we had some things that we said about Seemah, of which we love her. This is coming from a place of love, and I know and I believe that if she seeks, the coaching from MacG, I mean, you have the greatest people next to you. You have MacG, you have Saul Penduga, you have Dineo, who is also a star, killing it in radio. She was killing it in radio, and from there you have another support system. You have Black Coffee, who's connected to MacG. You have DJ Fresh, who's connected to MacG. You have a lot of people. You have Sizwe Dlomo, who is connected to MacG, and Sizwe Dlomo is connected to Trevor Noah. You have the world in your fingers. Like you have Pop Pops, who's also connected to a lot of people. Anelem Daughter. You have Robot Boy, connected to literally everyone in the music industry. It's like you have the whole world in your fingertip. Just ask for help if you feel like it's all overwhelming for you. Ask for help. Seek for guidance. Ask for coaching. These people are gonna help you grow and become one of the greatest. And I feel like that can happen too with Seemah, if she, puts herself out there to those people, say what, I have a problem with this, it feels like that taboo, that support group whereby you say, hi, my name is Seemah, I'm struggling with alcohol and stuff like that. But yeah, I just hope that she really finds a balance, because at this point of at what we're seeing from the previous two episodes, is that now it's starting to interfere with her work, and I really hope that she deals with it before it spreads out to her music, before it spreads out to her content creation, before it spreads out to a lot of things that are securing her the bag as soon as possible. But yes, there's a lot that has happened as well, as the episode that was there by Slikour OnLife, whereby we had A-Reece, we had no Moozlie, or Moozlie, as she's known, as well as we had DJ Party Time, and we had as well as Scoop Makhathini. They were speaking about 50 years of hip hop, which was an episode that was sponsored by Hennessy. So yeah, definitely congratulations to Slikour OnLife for having that sponsorship and having that deal. As we know, A-Reece has been working with Hennessy for the longest time right now, so I guess he had to be there. If it's Hennessy, A-Reece has to be there. We've seen him doing freestyles alongside Manifest, whom he ended up, having an album with, basically featuring him in the new album Paradise 2, which, according to me, again, is one of it's a good album. It's a really good album. When you're sitting down, when you're listening to it, you it's like, it makes sense how the songs are structured. It makes sense why one song is a minute, why one song is 4 minutes. It makes sense when you play them in chronological order, like from start to bottom. Like when you're listening to them as one track, without you skipping any, it makes sense. It's a good, song like that. It's a good one full song like that. It's a good album like that. And also, like I said, I spend most of my time in the PC, whether I'm editing, whether I'm recording, whether I'm whether I'm coding, whether I'm designing, all of those things. I need music that I can listen to on repeat, and I can be chilled and listening to it. So for me, I felt like this is properly, tailored and catered for people that want to repeat it and play it on repeat over and over again. I'll say it again, I said it before. If you're going to look for one track that you feel like, this is the best track, then you're not gonna enjoy the album as you would enjoy it if you just listened to everything. So yes, Paradise 2 is out. It had, features like Shekinah, it had features like Manifest, it had features like, as well as we had Where's Java, and a whole lot of awesome people. I say go ahead and listen to the album, and you will enjoy it. Just listen to it, the whole thing. Don't try and nitty pick, don't try and select any tracks, just listen to it from the start to the end. But yes, on the episode on Slikour OnLife, they're speaking about classics, which I believe the Paradise 2 album will spend time. And A-Reece was basically, for me, it was the first time I watched an A-Reece interview. I'm just used to A-Reece making music. I don't watch him talk. I don't watch him, because he never does it right. He's never really out there. But when he's out there, it's like make the use of it. So when he was on the podcast Slikour OnLife, they were speaking about classics and what makes a classic, and the artists that he feels like brought out classics. And he made mention of AKA, he made mention of Castanho Vest, Tsolo Fellow, AKA Levels, and he spoke about acceptance speech as well. So for me, I felt like A-Reece had a lot of substance that he shared, and there's a lot of smartness and everything. And basically, people, the only thing that trended about that episode was Stogie T saying that there's no classic and there's no album that is classic in SA, that which I disagree with. I like Scandal Republic. I feel like for me it's a classic. I can listen to it every time. No Fear, I can listen to it. Son of a Gun, I can listen. So many of those tracks in that album I can still listen to even today. But Stogie T had say that one album that comes close to being a hit or a classic is A-Reece, which for me, yes, A-Reece has good music in there, but I think for me it's only 3 tracks that I can listen to every day, and one of them is We Up, one of them is 5-0, the other is it's that roll up track, right? And so for me, I felt like it was one-sided. I guess it's the kind of music that we all like it's different, because A-Reece, when he speaks about his classics, he speaks about rap. Because if you listen to Tsolo Fellow, tracks like I Hope You Bought It, that's rap there. That is rap, that is someone speaking on something that is relatable. But if you listen to Man I'm Balling Like I'm 5-0, that is like screw vibes, and that's what Stogie T likes. And I feel like it's different preferences. For me, yes, I like tracks by MT, and I will never ever downplay MT. This guy is amazing. He made our high school monumental. So I really love MT. And but I'm against the fact that Stogie T didn't even say A-Reece is a classic. He said it's close to a classic, and he even gaslighted me to the extent, I don't know, he gaslighted me when he gaslit me when he said when he said Forest Hills Drives is not a classic. So I was like, what? Forest Hills Drive by J. Cole is not a classic. That's what he said. I'm like, come on, dude. You can hate on a lot of things, but don't say Forest Hills Drives is not, because that's what those are the kind of albums that A-Reece brought up. He acknowledged Forest Hills Drive. He said that's a good album as well, classic album. So I'm like, when I sit down and I watch A-Reece, I've realized that there's a lot of stuff that I relate to him. Like, even though I don't smoke, I don't drink or anything like that, I'm not the kind of people that when they listen to A-Reece music, they have to go and buy ganja or anything like that, or cannabis. No, I don't do that. But when he speaks, like, it's something like, it makes sense when you listen to him. Like, other than anyone else that's just speaking, anything like that. I understand that in hip hop, you don't have to pet anyone, at the back. You don't have to appreciate anyone. But, come on. We just give credit where it's due. Like, just give credit where it's due, But yeah, A-Reece then came out as well and gave a pat on the back for, I don't know, people might not like this one, but he did for Nasty C, whereby he said Nasty C is better than Central C. For those that don't know who Central C is a UK rapper. A lot of people know him for the track Somebody Tell Doja Cat that I'm trying to indulge in that. If you don't know, that part of the song, just know the beginning of it, whereby it was trending on TikTok. I think it's been trending, so maybe you will get a hang of it. It says, "How can I be homophobic? It's gay." You know that song, right? So that's Central C from the UK. Good someone, she don't listen to UK rap unless it's C or Dave, that song, right? Anything like that. But yeah, those are the UK artists, UK rappers. And basically Nasty C say that A-Reece say that Nasty C is better than Central C. I don't know what you guys think. Do you think Nasty C is better than Central C? For me per se, I don't know. I really don't know, because I listen to a lot of Central C music. Sorry. And for me, it would be foul to then say that, Central C is not good, because I listen to Dave. And Dave and Central C, they always like work alongside each other. So I guess it goes down to preferences and what one person prefers as well. But I just appreciated this moment of A-Reece actually acknowledging Nasty C, and actually giving him credit, because it's true. Now he's standing on his words, he's standing on what he was sharing on the podcast, on the show. So I felt like that was amazing, that was great, really unexpected, but amazing and top. So I appreciate him for that. And some people are asking, does that mean that that now there's gonna be an album or anything like that? I don't know. I guess if A-Reece goes and apologizes to Nasty C, because you have a situation whereby here Nasty C thinks A-Reece was trying to disrespect him on purpose or anything like that. So if he goes and proves that he wasn't trying to disrespect him when he booked, because Nasty C had tried to book A-Reece before to the show and make sure that they all grow together, they collaborate or anything like that. But when he came to the show, he wanted to be the one closing the show, and Nasty C felt like that was betrayal, felt like that was disrespect, because he's the one that's supposed to close the show, because it is his show or anything like that. But yeah, congratulations to the Springboks for winning against England, which was a very tight match, and it was difficult to watch. As I was watching it, my heart was pounding. I watched up until the last minute. I at some point I saw them taking out XBet, and I was like, oh my god, we are out right now. We're not recovering from this. And they brought a new substitute and anything like that. But when it got to 70, then it was like, that's when it lit up. That's when I saw people like Pollard actually like starting to whisper, like starting to have conversation before they take any step. And that is what people don't realize. There was a lot of conversation there. Let's do this. No, let's not do this. Let's do this every time. And you can see how they orchestrated the moves. They worked as a team, and it showed experience. It showed like these people, they make a choice, they make a decision, and they stick by it. And they, there was a time whereby the commentators like, I don't understand, this could be risky, this could be bad, but they made that decision. They rolled with it, to try and work for the fouls, and also to just have a fair throw as well. And there was a time where they were working. They asked for a fair throw after that perfect perfect grab of the ball. When it was hit to the air, and he grabbed it, and then he asked, what? Let us have a perfect throw. Let us have like a fair throw, and then from there we'll take it from there. And the commentators like, what? That's not a good move. What if it doesn't go according to plan, especially because they were close to South Africa's touchline, and that would have been an easy goal for England. So yeah, it was beautiful. Pollard hit the winning penalty just around, I think, 88 and or 89, before 88, and then they had to just defend for their last 2 minutes. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. I can't narrate it the exact way you would feel or you'd have felt if you watched the game. But if you haven't watched the game, hopefully you'll be around on Saturday to watch the final one, whereby South Africa will be playing against New Zealand. So definitely it's a date for that one. Please make sure that you come. Bring the snacks. Bring the liquor for those that drink, and and just be together. Watch. If you can have a big screen outside, have that big screen. Have that braai. Enjoy that moment together. I think Castle has also tried to bring you some good packs that you will enjoy over the weekend. So yeah, get in touch with Castle as well. But yeah, the match is on Saturday, October 28th at 9 p.m. It's New Zealand versus South Africa, the grand finale, the grand final. And the time that I'm giving you right now is South Africa Standard Time. So yeah, if you're in another place and you're listening from another continent or from another part of the world, then just convert, use South Africa Standard Time, that is SAST, and convert it to your local time. But in the UK, that will be 8 p.m. And yeah, go ahead and check out the final. I know a lot of people are gonna enjoy it, and if you don't watch it, then what are you doing? If you haven't seen the whole rugby union, just what are you doing? Go ahead and watch the rugby match. Just support South Africa. South Africans this time around, put on social media. Have those outside watching and streaming of the match together. Let's all come together and watch it. Let's show it to the box. Just show it to the people. Show it to Boke. Show it to the people out there, the world. Show them, because this is going to be we are defending it right now, so it's coming home, not as we're winning it for the first time, but we're defending it. So come on, make history together, support the team. If you've been divided and conflicted about whether you should support sports in South Africa, this is not the time. This time is for the braai. Get out the braai voice. Let's braai. Get out the pub. Let us have a good time. The archer, the chakalaka. Get it out there. Let's watch the match together. This time around, Saturday, October 28th. But there were people that were also conflicted about, what MacG had to say about Tyla. Tyla's recently trending song Water has brought a lot of controversy, with MacG giving credit to the controversy to Nota, because he said, and that's what people don't understand. Now people are attacking MacG. They're like, oh, MacG is a misogynist, MacG hates girls, MacG hates this or anything like that. But I'm like, the guy has a girlfriend, the guy has been brought out by a mom. The guy is literally working with girls everywhere. He has Dineo Ranaka, he has the ghost lady, he has Dudu, he has the fact checker, he has a lot of people. He has Seemah, he has who's this other one? He has sorry about that noise. I don't know what is happening. Someone is just excited. He also has this girl. I've forgotten this girl. That is amazing. I have forgotten, and that is amazing, because I was crushing on this girl, and now that I've forgotten her name, it means I've healed. But the name of the person is Yanda Woods, right? So that is only the people we know from up front. So it's girls everywhere. So this whole comment about misogyny, all of those things, and because his friends also are like females, because Tando is also his friend, right? Anele, Celeste, it's a lot of people I can call out that are close to MacG. So it's just every now and then we try to use these big words to describe people, and we don't even have support for them. But Nota Baloi, Nota the authority, had come out to say, according to MacG, that Tyla is only popping or trending because she's dating this guy who was dating, according to Nota again, was dating Shoma Josie, and the guy is basically, I think he's a photographer, and he is pushing for Tyla that side, and and he also say that the record label might be paying streams, might be buying streams, and that it's not organic listeners that are actually listening to the song, which I respectfully object, because the track has been all over TikTok. I've seen great people like Kem and Nye. For those that watch YouTube, Kem and Nye, right? They've been there. I think for now they are like one of the couples that has been consistent for the longest time, and they have been having those scandals, aside from Risa and Kwan as well, because they too are people that have been straightforward ever since, anything like that. But those guys have been hopping on the trend. A lot of famous people have been hopping on the trend. And, people from all the globe have been listening to that song. On TikTok, it's well known. Relationships are getting broken because of it. Man, girls are doing this challenge whereby they are basically playing that song on their phone and recording their boyfriend to see if the boyfriend is going to try and look for that video on the phone, and just stare at the screen and see Tyla doing that water dance and pouring water on her butt, and for me, that is what is making me respectfully decline what they are saying. Those are organic streams. The track has been trending, and others are saying maybe it's because they are putting it on playlists or anything like that. They are buying for playlists, but I'm like, man, it's been on TikTok. You don't have to buy for people to like TikTok. People just, if people like a sound on TikTok, they like it. There's no buying of anyone there. But yeah, I feel like that is doing exactly what we're trying to step away from. Step away from not supporting people. Let us support our musicians. Let us be proud of our artists. Let us always be positive about them. And let's support them. It's not against who and who. Let us carry this thing that we carry whenever someone from outside is attacking us. Because if Tyla was attacked by someone from outside, I'm sure we would come together and would say she's the most perfect girl and the greatest gift. And I feel like it's very unfair, because for every chance that Tyla gets right now outside, when she's having an interview, the first thing she does is she speaks in her natural accent. She doesn't try to change it. You can tell now that one is a colored from SA. That one is, you can hear it on her. I think she's even like making sure that she's enforcing that accent so that people know that she's actually African. The second thing is she always gives credit to Mzansi. She always appreciates South Africa. She always says that she's from South Africa. She doesn't hide it. She doesn't keep quiet. She says it out loud. I'm from South Africa, Johannesburg, right? And I feel like she has been proudly being South African with all the wins that she has been achieving. And it's bad now if when she's looking back at home, the home is not proud of her. That's unfair. That is very unfair. And we're actually like we're tearing these people apart. We're telling them, go abroad, don't come back home, because we don't appreciate you at home. And I've seen also a latest post with Elaine, as we've discussed that whole thing that you guys did, whereby you were comparing the two instead of appreciating them. When I saw that post as well, she was in Paris and she's living her life. She's really getting or being taken serious out there for her music. And when it comes back home, we're saying a lot of vulgar stuff, a lot of bad stuff about our artists, which is bad. I feel like we need to improve. We definitely need to improve on how we treat our musicians and how we on how we treat our talents or anything like that. But yeah, Thembinkosi Lorch is back up getting man of the match. And as we know, Thembinkosi Lorch is still also waiting for trial. So it's good to see him actually shining and excelling despite everything that has been happening, everything that is happening currently. But yeah, he won man of the match, and he got 100,000, which is money in the bank, free 100,000. So this is beautiful. And just like that, we have reached the end of this episode in today's podcast. Hey, this has been the podcast today. I really appreciate you. I've always been appreciating you. I don't know why this English is starting to sound in some way, to try and just now come and just put in some of the things that some of the words that are not what I say. But yeah, also the case that Thembinkosi Lorch has been going through, I just needed to read this out loud for you guys, and you can decide on what's happening, and you can catch up on the proceedings. Also there's also been that thing whereby they said some people are being assaulted in the Senzo Meyiwa case. The witnesses are being forced to make false statements, false confessions, which for me is scary. How long is that brown envelope gonna keep on going? How long is the brown envelope gonna keep on being thrown? Hey, it's scary, but I'm following it up close. I need to start putting recordings as podcasts as well of the proceedings, so that you guys can enjoy as well as follow. But a lot has been happening. Anyways, back to the Thembinkosi Lorch ex-girlfriend accusations. This is by Times Live, timeslive.co.za. So he assaulted me twice before threatening to kill me. Thembinkosi Lorch's ex-girlfriend. That is the title of the story. So it goes. The ex-girlfriend of Orlando Pirates football player Thembinkosi Lorch alleged she was assaulted twice by him before she went to the police. Fundiswa Nokuphiwa Matithibala laid bare their relationship in a victim impact statement in the Randburg Magistrates Court, where Lorch is due to be sentenced. Matithibala alleged he had moved in with her, with the plan being they would move when he was ready to buy a house. She claimed she also lent him money. Lorch was convicted of assault with intent to cause grievous bodily harm last year for strangling and beating her on the night of September 7, 2020. Their relationship started in 2018 when she was renting a 2-bedroom apartment in Ferndale, Randburg, and he was renting in Vona Valley in Midrand. In the same year, they decided to move in together, but as she had more furniture than he did, they agreed he would move into her place. They equally contributed towards the rent. They cohabited at her place till he could afford to buy a house, the statement read. In October 2019, he bought a townhouse in Midrand. As his income was increased at Orlando Pirates, she lent him $150K, which he paid towards the house the same month they moved in. In 2020, they decided to start their own family, and she fell pregnant but experienced a miscarriage around this time. They treated each other with love and respect, read the report. Then, however, he started to have trust issues and would accuse her of cheating. He would sleep in a separate room. The accused would send her text messages informing her that he feared he would kill himself, the report said. She perceived this as an attempt to threaten and control her. At the time of the latest assault, Matithibala and Lorch were no longer living together. She claimed that on the day of the assault, she was visiting Lorch when he left her at his home to go out with one of his friends. When it was getting late, she messaged him to return her car keys. On arrival, an argument ensued and Lorch became violent towards her and accused her of cheating. He pushed her and she fell on the pavement. She had natural hair and he pulled her by it. She screamed for help His friends came to her rescue. He didn't show mercy and was proud, telling her to call the police. Matitibala said she didn't report the 2 previous assaults as she was protecting his job and reputation. These were not as severe as the current incident, read the report. She said she had suffered intense emotional and mental repercussions. She found it difficult to balance life and couldn't focus on work as she would break down. She struggled to sleep and suffered horribly. She constantly questioned herself why Lorch treated her this way and couldn't reconcile with the fact of being a victim of gender-based violence. Even her hair has become a constant reminder of the ordeal. Lorch told the court he was willing to make amends and apologize to Matitibala. The case was postponed to November 21. Orlando Pirates, in a statement after Lorch's conviction in June, say the club had held an internal inquiry after his arrest. He had been fined and ordered to undergo anger management therapy. He had completed the prescribed number of sessions, which I don't understand. How are they fining someone for a crime that they did outside? Shouldn't they just take him to court and let the law deal with him? Anyways, he had completed the prescribed number of sessions. Since then, Mr. Lorch has not been involved in any similar incident or an incident involving violence. We are confident that the anger management therapy was an appropriate corrective measure. The club added it would not comment further until the crime case had been finalized. But how do we know? How does the club know that he has not been engaged in anything? But that is not to also make any false allegations or anything like that. But we will hear as the years go by. As you know, as here it has been stated, this, she started reporting when they were no longer together, and as we know right now, Thembinkosi Lorch is with Natasha Tahan. So we will hear when the guy is no longer with around whoever is might have been. Let me keep it like that. Thank you so much for listening up until this far. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will definitely see you in the next episode. And yes, I really appreciate your support. Please make sure that you subscribe to the podcast. Please make sure that you like. If you haven't, please share it with your friends. And just like that, we have reached the end. And take good care of yourself. It is a beginning of a week, and I hope you're going to have a great week. And all the goals that you set for this week, may you achieve them, and may you win. And I'll see you as a winner the next time the episode lands. Same time, same day. Enjoy yourself. Take good care of yourself, and I love you.